And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Justin McCormick back again, and we're going to be doing something a little different. This is the Arena Football League Road to Glory, and this game back in like 2006, 2007 was definitely a change of pace for EA, as this is one of the few EA games that I'll play. Any of the games around this area about the mid-2000s are pretty much where I'm going to stick when it comes to the EA games. So here's what we're going to be doing with this. We're starting an AFL season. We're going to be replacing one of the teams in the franchise. I believe we replaced the Gladiators. So we will be taking over their spot. Let's go over some of the players. As you'll see in the bottom right hand corner, that is our logo. The Cincinnati Slash are here to play. We got plenty of cap room because we're doing a cupcake franchise, so these guys are not going to be able to do a whole lot. Our guys are very, very lackluster. I might allow myself to get one player from free agency, but that is going to have to be it. I'm not quite certain what I'm going to do there, but first of all, let's introduce some of the players. I may bounce back and forth between the players and the footage that I picked up just recently. This is going to be our best receiver, Victor Velcro. He is going to be the guy that has got hands like Velcro, or stick 'em, whichever you want to say. It's this guy out of Arizona, number 81. He's doing his best to try and be the guy that we need him to be, and he's going to have to make plenty of plays if we're going to get him. And then Joseph Burns. Apparently they gave me a white guy, and I cannot change him, but that's all right. Joseph Burns will be a white guy in this variation, so I gave him the dreadlocks and everything just in case anyway. But Joseph Burns in this alternate timeline is not only a white guy, but he did not make the NFL, and he had to settle for playing in the Arena Football League. This will be his second season in the Arena Football League. And then one of the other receivers that doubles as a D-back is going to be Xavier Hurts. And Xavier Hurts is probably going to be one of our better guys. He's out of Ohio State, and I honored him with number 80, my favorite NFL player of all time, Chris Carter for the Minnesota Vikings, who also was a Buckeye. So we decided to go with that as well. Then our defensive specialist, Kevin Snow, we bring him back as he is a 2-year pro at this point. Kevin Snow definitely wielding his white outfit there, the number 25, because he is Mr. Christmas. He is coming out of Alabama this time, and the number 25 D-back will definitely be doing everything he can to keep coverage. Then we have Bernard Bailey, our other defensive specialist, who is just about as good as Snow. He's 6'1", and this guy will definitely be somebody we'll be looking at. So if we can get him some good catches and some good opportunities to get the interceptions, then it should be okay. Then one of the joke names on the team, this is onomatopoeia. And for those of you that don't know what an onomatopoeia is, it's one word that makes the sound as you say it, like words like buzz or snap or pop, things like that. But he's coming out of Eastern Kentucky, and onomatopoeia is going to be our big linebacker back there, as he will also be a wideout at times when we need him. Number 98 is definitely going to try to make a lot of catches. And then we have Deacon Halls. Deacon Halls, one of our other defensive specialists, as I honored him with Deacon Jones, the legendary Hall of Famer that I believe was a part of the Rams, as Deacon Halls is going to be another guy we're going to be looking at to try and seal up the defensive secondary. And then one of our many players, we have Alex Bradshaw, as Bradshaw is not really a good quarterback at all. He's got a noodle arm He's got the best accuracy in the league, but when you can only throw about 15, 20 yards, kind of limits you what you can do, especially in any kind of football game, much less arena football. Then the next thing we've got the offensive specialist, Willie Brake. Willie Brake, probably one of the guys that may see a lot of injuries throughout the franchises. He's coming out of Oklahoma. Number 99 is definitely going to be a guy that hopefully can make some good plays out there when he's on the field. And then the backup quarterback, Dwight Be Good, as we're hoping that he might be something, but just like Bradshaw, he's got a noodle arm. His accuracy's not the best in the world either, but he's going to be our backup, so we're going to be trying to see what we can do with him. And then our next guy is going to be offensive specialist Byron Rose, as Byron Rose is definitely going to be trying to see if he can make something happen if he comes off the bench. Also a Buckeye out of Ohio State. This guy is definitely going to be looking to try and see if he can be on the ball as much as possible. And then we're going to go to our line. This is going to be Deontay Parker. As Parker, one of the big guys up front, he's mainly going to be a defensive lineman, as he will play left end. And number 51 definitely going to make a lot of plays this year. Then our fullback, he's going to be also the linebacker. This is the big 6'7". This is Jacob Hightower, and Hightower rocking the number 30. He's definitely ready to make some big plays. The only problem in this game is running is very difficult, and on top of that, Hightower is not the best runner in the world, so we may be using him more in the blocking scheme. And then we have Harry Beck, our big center. He's going to be the guy that's going to be trying to hold down the fort to try and keep Bradshaw and Be Good safe, as he's out of Vanderbilt. Number 69 is definitely going to be looking to try and see if he can do what he can to keep the guys safe. And then the backup center and defensive lineman, Barnaby Freeborg, he's going to be looking to try and see if he can cause some pressure on the defensive side. When the rest of the guys get tired, Freeborg will come in to try and harass the opposing quarterback, as number 75 is going to be looking to try and get a number of sacks this season. And then going to be looking at the other defensive lineman. This is Hans Offenhauser. Hans definitely going to be looking to try and see if he can cause some panic back there in the backfield, as well as his penetration skills are pretty decent. He's a real good tight end when needed, but I seriously doubt we'll be passing to anybody other than our wideouts this season. We'll be looking to try and see what we can do. Also, Thomas Traylor, going to be cousin to one of my favorite defensive linemen as of late, Keith Traylor. As Traylor is going to be out of Syracuse, he's going to be another lineman that we're going to be trying to see if he can cause some problems when he has to come in on defense. As well as Vernon Sayers, as I decided to honor Gale Sayers with this man, as he's not really going to be a fast guy, but he's going to play more of the backup linebacker role, as we'll be mainly using Hightower as our runner, And then we're going to have Kevin White, as he's going to be our tight end / right end. He's going to be the backup that'll be coming off the bench in case we need him. He's coming out of Florida State. Number 91 is definitely going to try and see if he can continue to block and to make some pressure on the defensive side. And finally, the last player on our 22-man roster, this is Chris Shank. And the reason he's called Shank is because this man's leg is about as noodly as our quarterback's arm. This guy can barely kick it to the end zone, so he can barely make it 50 yards. So kicking field goals with this guy is going to be a challenge. I don't see us doing anything longer than a 30-yarder. Otherwise, it's going to be a glorified punt. So we're going to be taking a look at our weekly schedule here. We're going to take a look and see who we are going to be up against, as we're going to be facing off against the Avengers first in our Week 1 debut, and then the Wranglers will be on Week 2. Week 3 will be the Storm, then we'll take on the Gladiators, which I forget which team I replaced now, but I thought it was Gladiators, I guess not. Then we're going to go host the Sabercats. We're going to visit the New York Dragons. We'll get a bye week in Week 7, then we take on the Predators, the Force, then the Rattlers and Wranglers for a couple of home games there. Then we're going to visit the Desperados over there in Dallas. Then we're going to take on the Storm, the Destroyers. Then we're going to take on the Soul, the Force, and then we'll take on the Predators one more time before we get the last week bye, the 18th week. So, yeah, there are 2 bye weeks in the AFL season on this game. So, looking at our first matchup that we're going to be having against the Los Angeles Avengers, we'll look at the matchup here, as we will see that they have definitely got a lot better special teams than we do, as they're overall a bit better. Our offense is pretty decent, our defense is decent, so we're definitely trying to see how well we can do against the Avengers. But that is going to be what our schedule looks like. As for what I'm going to do specifically, just pretty much going to keep it to the short pass game in this option, as it has been difficult. If I do any kind of changes to the team, I'm wanting to limit myself on the free agency, because I can very easily sign every good player on this before the rest of the guys get a chance at them, and I'm not wanting to do that. If I do anything, I'll get a quarterback, and the only quarterback I'm looking at is the one that's got the best arm in the league, and for having guys that can run pretty fast, Dan Russell, I believe, is going to be one of the better options, as he's got a 92 throw accuracy and a 96 throw power. So trying to pick him up might be the option if I decide to go there. If I decide to go with anything else, I'm going to go with, and I'll get back to the overall here so I can show you. Probably my favorite guy on this game, just because of his name, Mackenzie Homebreaker. He looks like Homebreaker. I really would love to sign that guy, but if I limit myself to only one player, I'm probably going to get a quarterback, and it's probably going to be the guy, like I said, is probably going to end up being, let's see, where was it? Russell. Yeah, it's probably going to end up being Russell that I pick up with this, and being the fact that we've got $1.3 million in cap room, I think we can afford this guy no problem. As his salary sits at only $114, we could very easily sign him for a huge contract and end up getting him paid. But yeah, just messing around with this for a second. But yeah, if we could very easily pick up this guy, would most likely be a good deal, as we'll probably end up having to pay him at least $350K in salary, as unlike the NFL, the salaries on this is not as bad. So definitely going to be looking to try and see what we can do in Week 1, as our first week again will be against the Los Angeles Avengers. We'll definitely try and see if we can come out with a victory there. And as I play this series, I will probably adjust things to try and see if I can increase the difficulty. If it's close games, I'll not touch it. But if it gets to be a game to where it's going to be me running away from it, then I'll probably have to make some changes to it. But I appreciate y'all watching. I hope you stay tuned. Episode 1 will be in the works this coming Saturday, so I hope you guys swing by, check it out. I hope y'all have a great day, and may God bless you. See you later.